the other one, and there's been more runs scored on this, so it sort of slides on a bit nicer.
Yeah, I think so. I think the dew has been a factor the last few days. I think it's a bit cooler tonight, so we might not get that. But it certainly does look a good wicket.
Yeah, well, I know you two have caught up last night and talking tactics, so wish you well tonight.
Thank you.
Good on you. And, you look fresh as well, mate. What's preparation like before these games?
Yeah, sound. Obviously, 10 overs, you got to make sure that you switch on right from the get-go. So we've been lucky enough to get out here and run around before, once the rain ceased. But look, obviously we would have bowled first as well. But bat in hand, we'll see how many we can get.
Yeah, it seems in the batting, the top four are the guys that you really need to get the platform going. You don't want the tail trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah, look, I think both games we've batted pretty well. We just had too many dot balls last game. We had 24 in the 10 over stretch, so we still managed to get 120 odd runs. So if we can just reduce those, keep still swinging for the fence, we've got plenty of batting in hand. So we're just got to make sure we try and maximise that period.
It's hard to pull it back if it gets away from you.
Yeah, it is, and there's so many good players as well, so it's hard to close out overs. But one thing from a bowling point of view, if you have one tight over, you can swing a game too. So we're just got to keep that belief as a bowling unit and as a batting unit, just keep trying to swing it over the fence.
Well, you're batting well, mate. Put on a show tonight.
Thanks, mate.
Wish you well. So it's a case of the Kerala Knights. They win the toss and they're going to bowl first.
Well, no surprises over there, bowling first once again. But Brendan McCullum, pointing out there that they need to cut down on the dot balls, and that's one of the things that you can't afford in this format. Atul, when you're looking at, when you look at 10 overs, you really can't afford dot balls, and that's what McCullum was talking about.
That's very obvious. Like, water is always going to be wet, and in this game, dot balls are a sin. And I must say, but all the batsmen are trying to get going. They are playing fearless because there's no fear to get out. So it's just that you have to connect. If you hit well, that's why we have hardly seen twos. And I think the conditions here has freshened up the pitch a bit, and the fast bowlers should actually take advantage of this earlier on. But as usual, parity has been brought back. Team winning the toss has elected to bat first.
And we obviously can't take the spinners out of the equation as well. I mean, Sandeep Lamachane, we've seen him do really well as well. But for now, we have an interview ready for you with the star players. So let's head over to Priya.
So I have here with me Taimul Mills of Rajput. Taimul, thank you so much for talking to us. Well, we are all set for the game. How set are you from a bowler's point of view?
Yeah, it's good fun. I think it's nice. You always get an opportunity to come back stronger again next game. Games come thick and fast. It's tough, but it's a challenge you got to embrace, and not take it too seriously, because if you beat yourself up after you say get hit for a couple of sixes, you're gonna be pretty disappointed a lot of the time.
True that. It's a batter's game, but then in terms of bowling, how do you really prepare yourself for a game, for a format like the T10 when you sit with your coach? What is it that goes on in your mind?
I think first, mentally, you have to accept that you're going to get hit for sixes and fours. So you got to just put that to bed and understand this happens. But one thing that Carl Mills, our bowling coach, spoke about is if we get hit for a six or a four, try not to get back it up with that next ball. So I think in the first games, what we did really well. We didn't go for back-to-back boundaries, which is really important. So it's a big momentum game. So we just, as I said, you got to keep a clear mind and not take it overly seriously, and just accept that things aren't going to go a bowler's way a lot of the time. But we've seen some fixtures and some bowling figures which have helped the bowlers out, which has been nice.
Absolutely. Any particular batsman that you're looking out for?
We got a tough matchup today, obviously, with Gale, Owen Morgan, Paul Sterling. So I'll be interesting bowling at those guys. Always a difficult task. So we'll have to keep our wits about us for sure.
Well, wishing you all the very best. Good luck for the game.
Thank you very much.
Well, somebody like Tamal Mills, who's got a great slower ball as well, he made an important point over there, Atul, that even if you do get hit for a six, their coach was talking about how it's important to come back strongly on the next ball.
Well, I don't agree entirely with him that you can't beat yourself up and you can't take it too seriously, because this is serious cricket. If you're a top dog and you've been bought for millions all over the world, you got to find a way to come back after being hit for a six. And I think that's the crux of this game. So if you feel that, everybody's getting hit, doesn't matter, then you're not going to improve. And I don't agree with that kind of train of thought.
And that is one thing that, he pointed out as well about how you have to be mentally strong to come back in this format. But looking at Rajputs, again, at the top, they've got somebody like Mohammad Shehzad and, of course, Carlos Brathwaite as well. So lots of power hitters in their team.
Well, don't discount Riley Russo. He's been very dangerous, and he's the kind of guy I would like to come to the fore. And Tamal Mills, obviously, I'm looking for a good performance from him. Rohan Mustafa we have seen, but I think the big dogs you've mentioned, McCullum and Shehzad, will have to do the bulk of the scoring.
And of course, not to forget their captain Brendan McCullum, who scored a brilliant 64 in the previous game to set it up for them. And Kerala Knights, I know we've spoken about Gale and how he needs to come forth with his batting. But again, they have somebody like Sohail Tanveer who gives them that variation in their bowling lineup as well.
And I saw a lot of Fabian Allen in recent series against West Indies. He's a good all-rounder. He can bowl his left-arm spinners. Karan Pollard is not bowling much, but always a threat. He bats too deep and too far down the order to make an impact. But up front, I think it'll be Lamichhane. I'm excited to look forward to seeing bowl, because we thought already Mujib Rahman the other day and the way he bowled, so he should take a leaf out of his book.
We talk about all these big names like Chris Gale, the Gales, the McCullums, but if you look at some of the lesser teams, so to speak, like Paul Sterling from Ireland, or if you look at other guys as well, from Afghanistan as well, they've really put in a lot of important performances throughout the tournament. And Paul Sterling, he can proper hit the ball.
But you got a good point. I think because they are not rated, because we have hardly seen them play against the big teams in world cricket. Afghanistan is coming to the fore recently because they're playing Asia Cup. They're playing against the top teams and beating them now. But for Ireland, we have not seen that. So Ireland has also got 2 or 3 very good players. Morgan, of course, has shifted to England. But Sterling is somebody who has made a name for himself all over the world in these leagues. So he's somebody dangerous.
Well, one thing we've noticed in this tournament is that there are no consistent performances, so to speak, from all the teams. Because if you look at the points table in Group A, Pakhtuns obviously winning 2 matches, the last 2 matches that they won, that's put them right at the top with 4 points. And Sindhis, obviously, they've lost 2 games, which is why they're at the bottom. They will be needing to win the next few games to pull themselves up the table. And then we've got Group B, in which Bengal Tigers, they've got a very, very strong bowling attack, and they're also leading the charts with 4 points. The Northern Warriors, they made such a great comeback with all the Caribbean boys in their side. So it is a competition which is, sort of opening up. When you look at the tournament, Punjabi legends, of course, led by Luke Ronchi, they would be looking to register another win as well.
We are on day 5, but I've hardly seen a trend emerging. If at all, I think Pakhtuns look very strong, and on paper, Kerala looks very strong. But I can't be saying that just because you've got the names on paper, you'll translate that into the field. I cannot write off at this point. I think we'll have to wait a couple more days before we can make up the mind about who are the pretenders and who are the contenders.
I mean, we saw Luke Ronchi, opt to bat first last night, which is contrary to what we are seeing in the tournament so far. But again, it's been 2 back-to-back losses for his team. One of the days, obviously, the batsman didn't show up, then the bowlers got hit to all sides of the park. So it gets difficult after 2 losses because you don't have much time to be able to come back and change things around.
Yeah, I think you've got to be really confident about your batting if you are choosing to bat first, because you've got to put a total. And that pressure can actually make you collapse. Yesterday we saw that, when you're trying to put up 150, you might crash for 80. But you say, let's get to 120 first and let's see where we are at that point. So that's why most captains are trying to chase. And I think that's the better way to go about this format as of now.
And I know that, Tamal Mills, in his interview, he was talking about momentum, Atul, how important it is to, maintain that momentum. And this man, we saw Chris Gale, we would be expecting him to be giving them some kind of momentum as well.
Well, I think it's just to fill up the bandwidth and the waves to talk about momentum. Momentum is nothing. It's the most overrated thing in cricket. Let me tell you this.
But again, one of the things that we've seen in this tournament is that the bowlers have also come forth. We've seen hat-tricks in the tournament. We've seen 6s. It has been fabulous so far. Atul, thank you so much for your thoughts, because the comms are waiting upstairs for us for all the action to begin. Over to them.
Thank you so much from down there. I thought you were going to commentate from down there. We've been waiting for a long time. Thank you. We're very excited to get underway. Day 5. Owen Morgan winning the toss, no hesitation in fielding first. Now, let's not forget, we've spoken about the rain. There's a little bit of dew or wetness to the outfield, which is why you'll see the rag on the back of the bowlers. There'll be fieldsmen all carrying rags to keep that white ball as dry as possible. It will be the same, you would think, for both, as Shazad and McCullum make their way. They enter. It is a dynamic duo, and Trotty's alongside me. This is a night that is determining how the schedule pans out. It's all the scheduled games. They finish tonight, and then we start to match up the higher teams against lower teams, and we don't know how that will look until we complete the last game tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks, lads. Yeah, exciting.
And then we start to match up the higher teams against lower teams, and we don't know how that will look until we complete the last game tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks, lads. Yeah, exciting.
And then we start to match up the higher teams against lower teams, and we don't know how that will look until we complete the last game tonight. If there is a theme so far, the spinners are very much coming into their own. This young talent.
Yeah, straight away off the ball one here, Owen Morgan. Straight over to his bowler. Knows Brendan McCullum really well. See mid-off going back here. Would have been something that would have spoken about in a team meeting. Specific fields, not only for specific batsmen, but for certain deliveries as well. Certainly in this power play.
A little bit of an outside edge, so a dot ball. It's not a bad way to start against McCullum. I always feel that he likes that pace on the ball early to get himself going, and then when a spinner comes on, so we're going to change in field. They're actually going to bring a long off back into the ring, and long on goes back. So there's a quick change, Owen Morgan. Got the reverse, and a swing and a miss. So we've had one run off for the over so far. This is brilliant stuff by the youngster from Nepal, can you believe?
Yeah, brilliant to see.
Oh, he's got away with that one. He's got 4 wickets for 32 in the competition, this youngster. And at the moment, just not sizing that ball up. Maybe the Formula One has got him too revved up.
That's Brendan McCullum for you. Doesn't really have a look. Play his shots, reverse sweep, second ball. Perhaps it's holding up a little bit. There's a slap. Oh! Managed to hold on to it there. Fantastic catch. Good bowling. Wayne Parnell is the man who manages to hold on here. We've seen a few catches go down under lights. Brendan McCullum for you. Doesn't really have a look. Play his shots, reverse sweep, second ball. Perhaps it's holding up a little bit. Over the bat. Well held on there. Sure, if you're just messing around with his teammates, he's disappointed. Owen Morgan and his men striking the first over. Mohamed Shahzad has to go. Just scoring the 1 of 2 deliveries.
Well, another wicket to the youngster, and now there's a chat. You've got Owen Morgan in there, and Shazad, he was just unstoppable the opening match. They chased down 90-odd in 4 overs. And now it's Russo who's got the opportunity. The left-hander, he's got immense talent. We've seen some good form in his second innings. He got himself going. So there's no doubt that this combination can really set a scene. Outside edge runs away. Noah Chundin has been unlucky on that occasion, but what a start by the youngster from Nepal. Absolutely brilliant, 6 for 1.
The party's back for you. It's time for season 2. Just swing the bat and over slide. Can you feel the rush? Rush. Bust up dust. Bust up dust. Bust up dust.
T10 League UAE.
King Motherfucker.
They're the teams. So got Ben Dunk, who's got some talent too for the Rajputs. Brendan McCullum, Evans, Russo, Shazad. Well, he's back in the pavilion. Carlos Brathwaite, Stefan. And it is all about the top 4 doing a job. Here's McCullum. Trying to find the middle of the bat at the moment. He's just been a little bit edgy in that opening over, and he'll take the single. Sometimes take him an over or 2, but once he gets going, he'll flog them to all part.
It doesn't take Brendan McCullum long to get going. Riley Rousseau as well, dangerous player. Very good left-handed batsman. Plying his trade down at Hampshire now. Fortunately, injury last season had to cut his season short. Mighty fine player.
So obviously, just to remind, the power play is 3 overs, so half of what we see in T20, and the 2 men out. The one at long on and deep square leg, and that one is absolutely belted. And I suppose every time you flash one along the deck, it's going to get wet. That's why the rag is out already. Every one of them has got a white towel, just so they keep this ball dry. It makes it very hard for the bowlers, particularly the spinners, you would think.
Yeah, certainly. The seam, it's the stitching. That's particularly where it gets wet, and you're trying to grip those, and you need a bit of spin. There isn't much spin on offer, so whatever movement you can get off the wicket, you need to try and extract. So, I hit that through the covers again. You see him clearing his front leg. This one not coming off. And we're looking at the wicket there. Shazad giving himself room. Look how far he is, leg side of the stumps there. Just doesn't get it over the mid-off. Good captaincy from Owen Morgan, just bringing up the long off there. Made Parnell's face. Feels like it perhaps could have slipped out there. Perhaps a ball. It's a little bit slippery just in the first over even.
It's always hard to get away, Tanvir. He's often one of those guys that you might just try and see off and not try and take on too much, as Baz McCullum has to put in the old boy. We see him charging around the field still. Sometimes gets a little bit of a lower back issue, but he works really hard at his fitness. The older you get a bit smarter with that too. He doesn't have to probably do as much as he would have as a youngster, but he knows specifically the exercises to strengthen himself. There's another look at the Rajputs. I think there's a good balance in this squad.
Looks really strong, Laurie Evans. Another man from Sussex. We saw a few last night, didn't we?
Gave himself a little bit of room.
See, it's a conscious effort by Rousseau, trying to stay leg side, all skidding on. Not really thinking about any swing or seed movement just very confident getting his hands and back through the line of the ball. Got a little feeling here, Brendan McCullum perhaps going to line something up. Slower ball. Deceived last ball from Tanvir. Is he going to go with it again?
Well, yeah, I think the sensible way to go is over that offside, going with the angle of the left-hander. Not really going to get LBW because of this angle. There's no swing. Well, that helps, and that's a good take by the keeper. Had to do a lot of work to get there. But just that natural angle that Tanvir is going to bring across, McCullum hits so beautifully over extra cover and slices it square through point as well.
So he has that unique...
Onside. Just works it to the man in the deep. That was a specific plan. The end of the second over. It's gone for 10 runs, 16 for 1.
This happens across India. Some call it bawal. Others call it Matraidiche or Teru Sunday. Some call it Pasad or say Bhai, scene ho gaya. But when this happens outside India, it's called India Tour of Australia on Sony 6 and Sony 10-3.
Scorecard so far. McCullum, a little bit lackluster there. Just the 3 off 6. Rajput's losing the dangerous Sazad in the first over. Good catch by Wayne Parnell. Bowling changer, Naveed into the attack. Owen Morgan ringing the changes.
Yeah, the Shazad dismissal is interesting. He didn't have to hit it too much more to get over the top. But he's going to be that player for you. You've got to hang tough, given what we saw in game 1. Can't lose faith if he has another failure. You just got to keep trusting that he'll come off 1 in 5 innings. There's that ramp. There's the ramp. That's the McCullum ramp. So he wasn't being able to find the boundaries in front of him. So he just scoops it over his head.
First ball as well. Not even trying to have a look at the pace it's going to come down at, knowing exactly what he's going to do. Clear plans from Brendan McCullum here. As we said, had a feeling last over he was trying to line something up. That's Brendan McCullum we know. He's do it time and time again. Just look how far he gets outside the wide line there.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's probably the best in the world at doing that now. It's such a unique shot. The first time we saw it was many years ago now. Dilshan was one of the guys who started it. And then others became, that runs away. There's the outside edge. And again, he's going to take that McCullum. Doesn't matter whether it's an edge. If there's no third man, it goes the journey.
That's the price you pay. It looks like a conscious effort. Drum ball Yorkers at McCullum. Brendan McCullum knowing the first ball that over there was going to be a Yorker as well. Getting down, flicking it. Not giving the bowler much option or space or knowing where to bowl.
I reckon the secret to McCullum is bowling a full toss. He got bowled twice by full tosses the other night. One was a no ball, remember? The old fully. Oh yeah, that's a shot. That is a shot. Here we go. The big bass.
That has absolutely flown. Not at I'd say about 5-6 meters off the ground. Didn't even look like going for 4. This was 6 the moment it left the bat. As McCullum, he looks in the mood.
Well, let's not forget that we're looking at those Pepsi catches in the crowd as well. Got a million to give away. Pakistan rupees. I've seen a couple, 2 or 3 already. And at the end of it, it is going to be divvied up. So the catchers already want everything else to go down, so they get a bigger share. I'm just going to go for a wander after this stint and see whether I can't take one. Catch a million. You get a good chance in this form of the game, don't you? Where's this going? It's a good delivery. Good delivery.
Yeah, good fielding as well, and it shows the value of getting in New Yorkers and being able to hit your area. Players like Brendan McCullum sometimes try and squirt that away, backward point. Perfect, just on the off stump. See him, conscious effort as well, giving himself a bit of room, trying to use the pace. Ball skidding on nicely on this good wicket.
Russo now gets his opportunity. He's 10 from 4, 2 boundaries. He started nicely. Always nice to have a guy at the other end who's showing you where the boundary is as well. And there is a man there. Just have to see if the men in the outfield are motoring, how they can stay on their feet if the spikes are digging in up because of the moisture from the rain that we've had.
Dry out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that breeze also determines which way a batsman would prefer to hit as well. There's no doubt you start to think, well, I'm better off hitting with the wind. Hit firmly, always take a single. Those men are being pushed back. 3 overs. And that's gone for 19. Big over, the best so far for the batting side. 35 for 1.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to NBA Arando.
let's take a look at how the action pans out.
It's a big event this weekend. We got this sealed up.
Akshay Malwani, the stats machine, the stats guy.
Tell me, how did you got the name Big Shot Bob?
Such an outstanding weekend of entertainment.
NBA Around the Hoop, Sunday, Sacramento Kings versus Indiana Pacers on Sony 10-1 and Sony 10-3.
So there are the Kerala Knights. Chris Gale in heaper form. He's a lot of misses these days, but obviously he's still got the power. And the ground like this, he can out hit these boundary ropes. Al Morgan is impressive. I love the way he carries himself as captain. Always even keel. Alan Pollard, very strong hitter as well. So there's a good balance. They're bowling. They've made the one change. Sodhi comes in. It's the end of the power play. So Bobby and Allen into the attack with the Mohawk. And he gets a wicket first ball. McCullum, the danger man, he got himself going too, 21 off 12. And instead of going down the ground, he tries to take it to the onside in a sweep manner.
Well, it's exactly what Brendan McCullum would think going back to the change room now, walking back. Mid-on was up in the ring. I think when Brendan McCullum's looking to play straight, so effective. Big Mac has to go. 21 off 12.
Bus on bus. Bus on bus.
T10 League UAE.
बदल गया है
All right, so we've got another bowling change. So we've had an overreach for the first four, and we've got another bowler coming into the attack now. So it'll be Parnell, and the economy rate of Lamachatni, that youngster, 1 for 6.
Owen Morgan using his experience here, bringing the changes. Against the likes of power batsmen like Rousseau or Laurie Evans, even after a few balls, they'll try and line up at us. So ringing the changes, constantly changing the pace, the angle of delivery. We've got the left arm now of Parnell. We've had Tanvir as well. We've had a bit of spin. So it doesn't matter if you bowled a good over the over before. In Owen Morgan's head, he's got an idea of a plan, how he's going to attack each type of batsman or each individual batsman, counteracted with his bowling changes.
Well, it's just been bunted down the ground, a bit of a leading edge, and they'll look for two coming back. Good running, really good running. And thankfully, it's windy down there, not raining, otherwise Zainab's hair would be curly. Down to you.
Thanks, lads. Daniel, you got the important wicket of Brendan McCullum. You must be happy with the start.
Yeah, I have. I mean, there's such dangerous players, the opening partnership, but I think we've seen so far in the tournament that everyone's pretty dangerous, so you've got to keep coming, you've got to keep bowling well, and it's really hard to defend, but hopefully the way we've started, we can continue that on.
Talking about dangerous, Chris Gale is known to be dangerous, but we are yet to sort of see him come through. What is the reason? I mean, any particular reason, or what would you say is the reason behind it?
I think there's plenty of time. I think Chris has been such a proven performer for so many years, so many games. So within these next sort of 4 or 5 games, I'm sure we're going to see something special from Chris.
Now, I know that everybody knows that you were such an effective spinner in your time. You've got somebody like Sandeep in your squad. Must have been a great learning experience for him.
He's been amazing. I think for a guy so young who hasn't played a lot of cricket, but has started to experience high-level players in these sorts of conditions, I think he's really starting to, show how good he is, and he's starting to get a chance on so many levels.
Now, we've seen this T10 format, where you win one game and then suddenly the fortunes can change very quickly. I mean, what's the key to being consistent in this format?
You tell me. It's very tricky, I think, because of how aggressive everyone is, how many different, how many good players there are. It's really incredibly tricky to contain people, and I think that's what teams are finding. So I know the talk amongst the coaches is that
Not getting too concerned if there's a really big loss. Just sort of keep it calm and keep everyone confident and backing themselves. There's no doubt that the bowling challenge is probably the most difficult.
This happens outside India. It's called India Tour of Australia on Sony 6 and Sony 10-3.
55 for 2. Rajputs have lost the openers, and now we've got Evans and Rousseau in, and up against the defending champs, which are the Kerala Knights, won it in season 1. Had a shower come across the ground. Athol wasn't alongside. Wasn't too bad though, was it?
Yes, it was excellent. It was windy. It was cool. Brilliant cricketing conditions. But this one is a chance, and he's taken it. So a lot of drop catches yesterday. It's got to do with how deep the ball goes up in there and the perception, the depth perception we spoke about. But this is a big Russo. I thought that we mentioned him in the pre-show program, and I thought he's a guy who has in him to up the ante, but not today.
রহিম কিছু দিয়ে থাকি আমি তো দেশে কিছু রহিম